Okay, so today we got an Echo chainsaw, and I started it up and it runs I don't know, for a few minutes just fine, and then it starts surging real low and then real high, and it just doesn't act like a carburetor problem. First of all, it ran so good for so long that I just can't imagine it's a carburetor problem. I didn't even have to start it with starting fluid, it just started right up. So I went with the ignition coil. Usually if the ignition coil starts to go bad, after it heats up, it will start to lose resistance in its coils, and it will cause issues like that. Kind of strange the way it's acting, but I'm going with it's an ignition coil. If not, then I'll have to dig into the carburetor and see if I can find anything wrong with that. But this thing's just a mess. The bar was seizing up when he gave it to me, and you know, when I started it for my test, it seized up completely, so I had to replace that. It's missing a handle, and then it's missing screws for the safety brake. So I'm waiting for UPS to bring me the handle and the screws and bolts and different things so I can put that back together, and the chain and bar. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to get this ignition coil. I can still run it after I get the ignition coil on the test, see if it's going to run. Okay, so this is the ignition coil here with the spark plug wire. This is the ground wire. So when you shut off your chainsaw, it sends a ground to the ignition coil. That's what shuts off your chainsaw. Okay, so you want to make sure that the magnet on the flywheel is underneath the ignition coil. And then we're going to run a 10 thousandths feeler gauge or a business card. And then we'll put this back, we'll run it back, make sure we got it lined up. And then the magnet will draw the ignition coil towards it. So you don't really need to do anything but to hold it. And then we'll tighten this down. Yeah, feels a little loose. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more. That's better. Yep. Now we're gonna spin it and make sure nothing hangs up on it. Now we're going to change out the spark plug while we're here. On these 2 cycles, it's always a good idea just to go ahead and change out the spark plug when you're doing any kind of maintenance on it. You know, all that oil from the gas, you know, the gas oil mix, really does can corrode them up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to gap it 25 to 30. I looked it up. 25 fits. 30 does not. We need to make sure that we hook that ground wire back up. Since there's no handlebar on it, I'm going to put the cover back on to test it to make sure that it starts, or runs I should say. But got it to start up and run, warm up, and it did pretty good. So I'm not going to put the handle on camera. It's just 2 screws. It's really not a big chore. And then there's that safety brake bolt that goes in. That's not a big deal either. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something. So I hope I can inspire you to fix something today. Sing, live your dreams. Thanks for watching.